media have put their blinders on when it comes to us. They do so because older women are supposed to be, for the most part, and even more so than younger women, quiet, docile, and invisible. Even feminism, which would not have happened in the 1970s without so many of us, and which is enjoying a much-needed, at times even fiery resurgence, is cast in the media primarily as a young woman's game, with its high-profile embrace by Beyoncé, Lena Dunham, Emma Watson, and other celebrities, and with the explosion of the Me Too movement across our nation in 2017. The battle over Brett Kavanaugh's 2018 Supreme Court nomination provoked women's open-wounded fury over so many male Republicans' dismissive attitudes towards sexual assault, in particular, and women in general. Like a sensational discovery of intact mastodon bones, many girls and women of all ages are seeing starkly how sexism and patriarchy will structure our society, our politics, and our culture at their very core, and this nearly 50 years after the women's movement. Feminist writers like Rebecca Traister and Brittany Cooper have written and spoken passionately about the current pressing need for women's rage. And in the 2018 midterms, a record 117 women were elected to Congress, the vast majority of them in opposition to the throwback politics of misogyny. Women like me are standing up and cheering about this renewed feminist tsunami. Feminism, backed by popular demand, was a recurring sign at the 2017 Women's March. According to a 2016 Washington Post poll, 68% of women aged 50 to 64 and 58% of women over 65 identify as feminists or strong feminists, with majorities, 64% and 56% respectively, finding feminism empowering. Yet the voices, concerns, and interests of older women have gotten minimal attention as part of this new, revitalized feminist movement. We have been sidelined, at least in media imagery and political discourse. Even worse, we have at times been cast by some as outdated, clueless antagonists to younger women, fuddy-duddy second-wave feminists stuck in the past, with second wave even becoming an insult, stereotyped as hidebound relics who are too timid to push for the real revolution. As entertainment writer Laura Hudson lectured in a tweet, it is time for older feminists to listen, to learn, to step aside, because age tends to correlate with not being on board with progress. But here we still are, hugging young women's concerns close to our hearts, and hugging our own as well. There is something quite incongruous here, then, between our flesh and blood visibility in everyday life, the vitality of our past and present, our ongoing feminist concerns and energy, and our invisibility or dismissal in too many sectors of our country's cultural imagination. According to one survey, the majority of older women believe that if the media were reflective of the population, a person would likely suppose women over 50 do not exist. This same survey found that 93% of women aged 50 to 64 felt there were major misconceptions about older women, including that they are not productive in society, 71%, do not care about their appearance, 70%, do not have a full social life, 69%, and do not enjoy sex, 72%. Not surprisingly, 91% believed it is about time for society to change the way it looks at aging, especially for women. This near-total eclipse is even more obscuring for older women of color, who are virtually absent from the screens of America. The question before us, then, is this: are we going to accept this manufactured invisibility or rip off the invisibility cloak? Many increasingly impatient women are saying, let's choose option B. To do so, we need to confront our medias, our cultures, and our own dismissive attitudes about aging, especially for women, and how they seek to marginalize and silence us culturally, economically, and politically. And we need to do so with humor, irreverence, and yes, anger. This is a major piece of the unfinished business of the women's movement, and it matters now more than ever. Because while many of us are in fact doing better than ever, others of us are not at all, because of poverty, racism, or bigotry. This remains a totally unaddressed, hidden, and pressing feminist issue. No agenda can be feminist if it doesn't bring all women.